Hello, I am Peculiar Ibitomi. Today I'll be reading some of my favorite poems. I'll be sharing them with you and the reason why I love these poems. I'll be starting with the collection A Woman Has Many Names by Karimot or Odebode. And in this particular collection, I would be reading the poem A Woman Has Many Names in the collection. A woman has many names. She is 1,001 women. Women who came before her. Women who made her their mouthpiece even before she was born. Women who wore greatness by their waists. A woman has many names. Call yourself by the women who paved way for you to exist and occupy. A woman has many names. Names that linger in her mouth, from prayers to guide her on earth. Names that open doors for her, push her forward to be her. A woman has many names, and you will call her whatsoever she wants to be, and she will answer to whichever she wants. A woman has many names. Kí ni orúkọ rẹ obìnrin? Orúkọ mi pé igba. I particularly love this because a woman has the potential to fit into various capacities, wear various hats at the same time. Sometimes she's a wife, she doubles as a mother, she's a leader, she's an entrepreneur, she's a professional, she wears so many hats at the same time. So it's not as if a particular name can capture all that a woman is. And then one of the standards or one of the lines in this poem also mentions the fact that a woman, there are women that have come ahead of her, that have paved the way for her to exist and occupy. I know there are a few things around women leaders, women bosses, and all of that. But personally, as an individual, I've had the privilege to be guided, to be taught, and to be trained by women who are older and who have been able to hold my hands through certain seasons and certain phases and then walk me through, like standing on their shoulders, and then I'm carried through such seasons with their wisdom, their resources, and a few other things that have made such periods of life easier and better for me. The next poem I would be reading is a short one, also from the same collection, and it's titled Flower. It reads thus: give yourself time, you will bloom. That's it. It's simple, it's short, and for every young person, I think this would resonate kind of, because like the flower, just give yourself time. I know there are challenges and all of that, and at a particular time I had to reread these lines to myself. Like, it's just a process. You'll be fine at the end of the day. It's a phase, it's a season, and I know definitely one day, someday, someday, I would bloom at the end of it. So those are the two poems I love, or which are my favorites from this particular collection by Karimot or Odebode. The next collection I'll be reading my favorite poems from is titled The Ones Before You by Joba or Ojelabi. And in this collection, I would be reading Small Talk. Small Talk. Tonight, I almost dialed your number again. Sure that somewhere between acquaintance, friend, lover, you'd find my name and maybe laugh at my jokes. Maybe you'd even care to know how my day went and show me a glimpse of yours. When we run out of small talk, we would ask the questions that matter, like why you chose the things you chose, food, wine, and lovers. Sometimes lovers are not real people. They are things, line items on a contact list. Tonight, I almost dialed your number, but I didn't. And for me, I found this really, really interesting but in somewhat in a different context, kind of. So small talk, for some, it will resonate in the context of a romantic relationship they've had previously. But for me, it resonates more in terms of contact list, the friends you've had, growing from acquaintances to friends, and maybe somewhat close friends. And then all of a sudden, just look like distance, time, life, and so many other things happened in between. And then you now start contemplating, should I reach out? Should I call? Should I send a message? Should I put a call through? And you're just contemplating and thinking about the what is. So the previous relationship with them you had as friends, and then you could go on and talk for hours, but all of a sudden, just small talk. The next one I would be reading is Friends in the same collection. So like I said, the previous one I read, Small Talk, for me the context was for Friends. And then I'll be reading, thankfully there's another poem in this collection titled Friends. Here they say that the dead never hide their darkness from those who will prepare them for the grave. But what about the living? Those who might feign decorum and hide their flaws beneath vain fabric. Those who are wise have learned that dead or alive, only one cloth covers nakedness. People, and if you are lucky enough, friends. I enjoyed this because over time I've enjoyed the gift of friendship so much. I have a best friend I love a little too much, and I have some close friends that hold special places in my heart across various seasons, right from childhood, secondary school, university days, and even after. I've had close friends, and sincerely speaking, friends are like clothes that cover your nakedness, cover nakedness of various times, especially as an adult through adulthood. And I think that's one of the reasons why I love that particular one. And the next one I would be reading is a popular one titled Ibadan by J.P. Clark. While going through the previous episodes of the poems I love, I found out that so many persons have read Ibadan by J.P. Clark, and I'm not taking an exception, not because I just want to follow them or do something similar, but because the city of Ibadan holds a special place in my heart. From the first time I had to visit Ibadan, witnessing my grandma's 80th birthday in this very city, celebrating her, which coincidentally was few days after my own 7th birthday, having to convince my parents to travel all the way from my own geopolitical zone. Then, as a secondary school student, I wanted to come and spend some part of the holiday with a friend who lives in Ibadan. And then the distance and all of that, but I kept persuading, I kept convincing, and as things will fall in place, my dad happened to be traveling to Ibadan. I was like, probably this is the opportunity to go and pay that your friend a visit. Just be sure the parents are aware you're coming over. And then we had to establish all of that. And I came to Ibadan, and since then, I think coming back to Ibadan reminds me of those things. Aside from that, most of my close and special friends have also had a thing with Ibadan. So most times it's that they are living in Ibadan, they are residents in Ibadan, they are from Ibadan, or we met in Ibadan. So Ibadan holds a special place in my heart, and therefore I'll be reading Ibadan by J.P. Clark. Ibadan, running splash of rust and gold, flung and scattered among 7 hills like broken china in the sun. Simple, and Ibadan holds so many memories for me. So many memories, and that's why I love the poem. And since it's just something short, crispy, that's why I love Ibadan by J.P. Clark. And the last poem I'll be reading or in this episode is Thank You, as a way to thank you for listening and watching up to this moment. And it's from the collection I read previously, The Ones Before You by Joba Ojelabi. A painter pours his art on canvas with hope to find succor, and maybe another, which shares the colors that make his art beat. A singer pours her soul into a melody with hopes of candor, and maybe another, which shares the rhythm that makes her soul linger. A writer pours his mind on pages with hopes to find closure, and maybe you, reader. The last stanza of this particular poem stands out for me because oftentimes we hear this saying that sometimes some of the things you don't want to say directly to people or whatever, just pen it in a book, pen it in a journal, and that is it. So this stanza that a writer pours his mind on pages with hope to find closure. I know one of the ways personally I find closure is also through writing, journaling. Just write it out. Confused, overwhelmed, whatever the emotion is. So far is on the other side of the spectrum. Sad, somewhat in between. Writing just gives that clarity, and then it gives that closure as well. So thank you so much for watching up to this point, listening to me read some of my favorite poems. Bye!